ministry would be marvelous if I didn't have to deal with people. Man, I would be walking around here and having a great time. But hey, I got to deal with folks. I got to deal with their mindsets, their problems, their angst, their hang-up. But when you come out on the other side, through application and obedience, I'm talking about, I get excited to see people transform. Yeah, I get wore out watching, just going through the same stuff, peaks and valleys, that wears me out. But to see somebody actually start blossoming and blooming and fulfill what Scripture said, if you be planted in the house of the Lord, you're going to flourish in the course of your God. All that stuff is for real. It happens. People can be transformed. Some of us are here that's been transformed. Yeah. So how is it going to be worked out? How is it God going to sprinkle, or should I say, He's going to put something into my life prophetically? How is it that everything you said about the prophetic dimension, how is it that it's going to come to pass? You shared with me for the time and a half that it's possible, that God has something reserved for me. How is it that I'm going to ascertain it? How is it that it's going to somehow affect me now? Deal with my mental makeup, deal with my spiritual attitude, so that I can be able to be formed into the image that God has for me for the foundations of the world. How is this going to happen? Well, let's go to Proverbs 29 and 18. We've been waiting to go there for a while. 7 teachings? Let's try to go over there. Principles. Trust me, y'all. Principles. Miles Monroe used to say it all the time. You want to change your life, you got to change your principles. The perplexities of our life is a product of principles, trust me. Or the lack of principles. Because the principles become the boundaries that establish your life and bring you to a level of stability. Principles like what? Core value. Yeah, don't worry about trying to get that Hebrew word, because follow me. Yeah, just follow me. I'll tell you. I don't want you to get prophetic on me. Let me just do this real quick. So we need to know that there's some principles that God has. Yeah. Knowing that, let me just make the statement. The principle is we see, and then we become what we see. If we have no vision, we have nothing to become. The principle is we see, and then we become what we see. If we have no vision, what? We have nothing to become. So some of us had great vision when we were growing up. We wanted, I mean, honestly, I didn't plan to be a thug or a gangbanger or a womanizer. I had a vision when I was growing up. I wanted to be a cop. I was on the other side, but I did. I wanted to be a cop. Not necessarily just a cop. I just wanted, I always, when we played when we was growing up, we played cops and robbers. I always had to be the cop. Because I had this fascination with guns anyway. I'm going to be honest. Okay. I love guns. Still do, but I can't carry them.
I'll do it for you, baby.
You gonna stand in proxy for me? Yeah. God had to save me and get that fascination out. Now you probably put a gun in my hand, I'll be all good. Unless you come in the house. You come in my house when I'm asleep, I'm gonna salute you. But anyhow, so let me get back to what was I saying? Oh, about the principle. We gotta be able to see the principle. See, because when you start seeing the principle, you would never give eternal value to temporal things. Or never give temporal value to eternal things.
Yes.
So you got to get a picture. You got to get an image. And we're going to look at Proverbs 29:18. I want to put a picture in you. It may not be all perfect, but it's going to be a snapshot of what God has given to the church. That's what prophetic ministry does. It interjects God's image in you. If you can hear it correctly and stop putting it in your library, and then it has worms, because manna had worms, and they were supposed to eat it that day. Yes. And we put it on reserve. Stop reserving what God has reserved for you. Stop apologizing for what God is showing you. God is showing you some things. He's showing us some things. And sometimes you have to go back over those words and make war with them. I left that off. Before we go to Proverbs 29, let me show you real quick. Go to 2 Timothy. I think it's 2 Timothy. No, it's 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 1:18. You have to see. You have to put the enemy in remembrance. I know Isaiah said, "Put God in remembrance." Yeah, that too. But what you got to do is got to find a certain 1 and 18. 1 Timothy 1 and 18. Well, I take that. Don't you want me to have it? Oh, okay. This charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy. Timothy. Listen. This charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies. See, I just put y'all over there. What y'all doing? According to the prophecies which went before on thee, Timothy, the prophecies that went on thee, that thou by them mightest war a what? A good warfare. Paul also tells them that we have to fight the good faith. So a good warfare is good faith. What good faith is it? Something I come up with? No. The good warfare is that what God has spoken over my life, I have to take that two-edged sword and I have to yield it against the enemy and tell the enemy, no, you're not going to run through my mind anymore. You're not going to show me a picture, a counterfeit, or substitution. No, I'm not going to get off the wheel. No, I'm not going to listen to the lies. No, I'm not going to listen to falsehood. No, I'm going to build my house, my life on truth. Because the word says, is when I know the Son, and whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So I'm going to chase that and stop allowing you to run through my mind with imaginations, incorrect imaginations that are trying to bring me to a season of forfeiture. You're not going to forfeit my season any longer. I'm not going to settle. You get what I'm saying? This is not about settling on what you're showing me. The only way I'm going to settle, the only way I'm going to camp out is when I'm going to put the stake in my inheritance and tell you this is where I am. You know, like Shammah. You remember Shammah? Shammah stood over his lentil field. He said, no, you're not getting my inheritance. Shammah, the word Shammah means to dwell. Jehovah Shammah. So you have to dwell in your inheritance. He said, you're not getting my inheritance. I'm a good warfare. So yeah, there is warring in the New Testament. But you war over the words, the preceding words that were spoken over your life. So yeah, sometimes you have to step back into 2001. Step out of 2019. And allow the image. Remember I told you about how words bring images? Sometimes there's certain emotions and sentiments that are connected to certain words. Just like you can be driving down the street on 102.7 and you jam it. Then all of a sudden something come up and you start thinking about this rascal that did you wrong. Now I've never been wronged in my life. It'll bring a conjecture of different thoughts. Different things start coming against your mind. Okay, let's just say you was at the TJ Maxx and the song came on. Is that better? You're TJ Maxx, then all of a sudden you looking for jeans and it came on and it just jerked you. You were having a good day. Right? You're having a good day, but that song somehow went into your ears and turned your whole attitude. That's the same method that the prophetic realm should do to you. You should keep hearing and hearing by faith, and it begins to recalibrate your spirit. Then all of a sudden a victory song comes up, it rises up on the inside of you. Oh, amen. Some things come up and say, oh, clap your hands, all these people. Right? Charlotte took out something.
The voice of triumph.
Not complain, not backbite, not gospel, but the voice of triumph. So that's what it should do. That's how you war a good warfare. You got to say, you know what? I'm going back on you, devil. I'm in a bad way. Things are weak, frail, hopeless, discouragement, despondency. I don't have my edge. I'm just telling you from my perspective. I have to do it from time to time. Okay, I ain't the great one. So sometimes I have to go back. If the Holy Spirit will quicken my spirit and say, go and revisit so and so. Sometimes He'll tell me to write it out. Sometimes He'll tell me to pray it out. That's how you war. Would you just collect them and put them in the garbage? I hope not. You have to put that stuff in storage. That's a sword. That's a weapon. Sometimes you have to grab a hold of that thing and remind the devil, no, this is not my conclusion. This is my process, but this is not my benediction. You have to remind them. Amen. I've had people tell me about prophetic words that got out of this house. They're no longer at this house, going to other churches, doing big things, and they remind me. I know, it's hard to think about it, but they did. I'm just saying. That's okay. I don't want to know some, we're going to leave some of them over there. But you know what I'm saying? But it came to pass. The spoken word came to pass. Yes, there's some things that won't come to pass automatically. It has to be an agreement in the earth. Yes. And it has to find agreement in your heart. Yes. Then out of the abundance of your heart, the mouth speaks. And as you using it as a weapon. You get what I'm saying? I know some of us, that's why I wanted to stay here, because most of us, we've learned to accumulate stuff. And there's treasure in our earthen vessels. And we haven't learned how to steward or navigate the grace of God that's connected to those prophetic words. Because they are deep wells. Sometimes you have to go beneath the surface. And you hear things, if you go back over, you hear things you didn't hear the first time. Or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. And there'll be a word in season. Just to, you know what I'm saying? A word in season. Just to resuscitate you. To refresh you, to renew you.